Hello, my name is Julia Olmsted, and I'm the author of the report Fueling Resistance, Antibiotics in Ethanol Production.
Welcome, Julia. How long has the ethanol industry been using antibiotics?
The industry has been using antibiotics for a long time, for several decades. They have been using antibiotics in an attempt to control bacteria in the production process. Bacteria get into the fermenters, into the tanks that they brew the ethanol in, and the bacteria come in on the feedstock, on the corn, or they're already there in the tanks, and if they get out of control, they can really start to decrease ethanol yields, and that's a big problem for producers. So antibiotics have been a way that they've been trying to manage that.
What's wrong with this practice, and what are your concerns?
Well, antibiotics are intended to treat disease, human and animal disease, and their use in ethanol is like their use in the rest of the livestock industry. It's not used for treating disease, it's used for production. And for a long time, ethanol producers were saying that the antibiotics just dissipated during the production process, but what we found was that that's not the case. The FDA last year started testing what are called distillers grains, and these are a co-product of ethanol production. So it's the fiber, the protein, all the material that's left over after the ethanol process, and that material is sold as a livestock feed. And the FDA started testing these distillers grains, and contrary to what a lot of producers assumed, they found residues of these antibiotics in the distillers grains. And what that shows is that these antibiotics are going from the ethanol production into our food system. And when we have overuse of antibiotics, and when we're using them for unnecessary reasons, we are contributing to antibiotic resistance and really making it harder to treat disease in humans and animals.
And are there alternatives to the use of antibiotics?
That's the good news. There are some really good alternatives on the market. During this report, we found that about 45% of the ethanol industry is already using one of these alternatives. And from talking to producers, they have confirmed that these are not only effective at replacing antibiotics, but they're also cost competitive and sometimes even cheaper than cycling through antibiotics. There are a few different kinds on the market, and it's really a growing industry. So we were really inspired because it really showed us that stopping antibiotic use is something that could happen anytime. There's really no reason why producers need to keep using antibiotics.
And are antibiotics regulated in ethanol?
Well, yes and no. No one has jurisdiction over the use of antibiotics in ethanol production directly. However, the FDA does regulate livestock feed, and because these antibiotics are leaving residues in the distillers grains, the FDA does have jurisdiction over these distillers grains. So really, the FDA has it within their power to step up and say, we're not going to allow antibiotic residues in distillers grains, and we're asking them to really do that and to take action and to put an end to this.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.